Now, the latest from ITV News Meridian with Fred Dinage and Sangeeta Barbara.
Hello, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the southeast. More police on the beaches of France to stop more migrants crossing the Channel. Dawn at Dover today and the boats continue to come.
Now, Britain gives the French £54 million to try and stop the people smugglers, but some are far from convinced it'll work.
This is ridiculous, and it makes a mockery of it. So just giving the French more money to carry on doing what they're doing badly is not going to solve the problem.
So far this year, there have been over 7,500 interceptions from the French side.
Also tonight, empty shelves and rubbish.
Good evening to you. Just after 6 o'clock this morning, another migrant boat reached Kent. Calm seas and warm water mean it's happening every day now.
What makes today's arrival remarkable was that the total for 2021 has now passed that for the whole of 2020. Almost 8,500 migrants have crossed to Kent this year. In 2020, 8,417 people made the crossing, and in 2019, only 1,835 people made the journey.
Well, last year the government gave the French £25 million to address the problem. Now the government have offered another £54 million to the French to stop the crossings. Not everyone is convinced even the new deal will work, as John Ryle reports.
Another dead calm day in the Channel, and another migrant dinghy makes it to Kent. Another boat that has left the French coast undetected or unchallenged. Today's arrivals here at Dover mean that so far this year nearly 8,500 migrants have arrived on the Kent and Sussex coast in small boats. That is more than the total for the whole of 2020. Today the government has announced it's paying an extra £54 million to the French authorities to tighten coastal security to stop boats leaving. But a former head of UK Border Force says what's needed is joint Anglo-French patrols in the Channel.
If we could do that together with the French and have them removed instantly back whence they came for asylum processing, then we would be able to stop the problem. But at the moment, that seems to be a step too far in terms of our international agreements with France.
Today, MPs on the Home Affairs Select Committee challenged Home Secretary Priti Patel about the extra £54 million being handed to France's border force.
We now have a record number of boats which have come across the Channel, and the number of interceptions has actually fallen by the French. So isn't that throwing good money after bad?
Coming to a town near you.
Mr. Lawton, in relation to France, we will always continue to work with the French authorities. This is a shared problem.
The Home Secretary was also challenged about the continuing use of former army barracks at Folkestone to house asylum seekers, accommodation ruled inadequate by the High Court.
There have been improvements throughout the establishment of Napier, and I think that's important to recognise.
Both the £54 million going to France and the new powers proposed in the government's Nationalities and Borders Bill are designed to stem migrant crossings and have asylum applications to the UK assessed in France and other so-called safe countries. But refugee welfare campaigners say it's the wrong move.
It's really important that as a country we continue to do what Conservative Prime Ministers from Winston Churchill to Theresa May have always done, which is give people the opportunity who come to our country seeking protection an opportunity to have their case heard on British soil.
Get in the bin.
Migrant crossings today will not be released by the Home Office until tomorrow, but it runs into dozens. And UK Border Force is gearing up to deal with hundreds a day in the weeks it will now take France to spend more UK money securing its long Channel coast. John Ryle, ITV News, Dover.
Man has been charged in connection
Load
to
of shit.
Dartford. foot.
Sorry
The fight
guys,
broke
load
out
of
on
shit.
Lowfield Street